everybody, so we've got a fun review today because we're talking about the third season of The Boys. As we're entering the summer months where there's loads of new great content to talk about, the third season of The Boys is one that I was most psyched for. And it's a very fun show to talk about each and every week with you guys because we have the first 3 episodes debuting this Friday, and then it's going to be 1 episode per week for the rest of the season. This is a non-spoiler review of Season 3. I have seen all of Season 3 thanks to Amazon Prime providing screeners for all 8 episodes. But the plan is to leave all of the big spoilery stuff for week-to-week discussions on each and every episode, so if you're interested in that, make sure you come back every week to talk each and every episode of Season 3. Season 3 of The Boys starts out a bit more mellow than we're used to. Not super mellow, but mellow by The Boys standards because of the fact the season does take place a year after the events of Season 2, so we are gradually getting back into the flow of things with our characters. But once we set up the main central story that we're going to be following in Season 3 once again is a lot of fun. Season 3 still has that great blend of clever writing, raunchy humor, and just all-around fun, bloody entertainment. It feels like each season tries to top the last one comedically with the way that it continues to make fun of the superhero genre and just pop culture in general. We see it a lot with the dawn of the 7 and the creation of American Hero on Vought Plus, the reality show to pick the next member of the 7, but also the gore. Something that we've seen in previous seasons, this show doesn't shy away from showing blood and guts. This might be the most violent season yet, especially when it comes to surprises. I guess that's the best way to do it without spoiling anything. As there are quite a bit of surprising deaths in the show that I wasn't expecting going into the season, and I certainly think that fans of the series aren't going to expect. Out of the 3 seasons, this season feels like the one where it feels like any character could be taken out at any minute, and it also presents the toughest challenges for the team, the boys, because not just in the way that they're trying to take out the Soups, but just a lot of infighting in Season 3. We see in that big gap between seasons, there was quite a bit of friction there between the members and all the various problems that arise because of the way that they want to tackle all these plans. So many of them have many different philosophies. The biggest one of them all is the one that we've seen in the trailers, which is Butcher using a temporary compound V to gain superpowers. And while most of them might not be a big fan of him gaining powers, I thought it was one of the best parts of the show. Possibly due to the fact that I'm used to them using powers in the comic books to take on superheroes, but in Season 3 it does a great job leveling the playing field, and it's just downright awesome seeing Butcher fight superheroes. This very first fight in the first couple episodes where you see Butcher take on a Soup, it is pretty awesome, but I guarantee you as the episodes progress and we see him fight more and more Soups, it gets better each and every time. But we do see as he continues using this temporary compound V to become a superhero temporarily, there are a lot of problems that loom large over the course of the season, side effects wise, and it's one of the big things that we see going forward as the boys are searching for Soldier Boy. As someone who is a big Supernatural fan, I was very excited to see Jensen Ackles portray the character of Soldier Boy, and he does a pretty good job with the role. He is extremely unlikable, which is very intentional. He's basically the anti-Captain America, much worse than John Walker, who we saw in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. He's brash, he's cold. But he does get some solid moments to shine as we slowly learn more about his backstory with that team called Payback, which is introduced into this season. We come to find out that Black Noir was actually in that team, which was pretty cool to see Black Noir get a bigger focus this season. The bigger surprise here for me personally was the connection between Soldier Boy and Mother's Milk. There's a very interesting connection between the two characters that we see kind of loom large in the Mother's Milk's arc over the course of the season, which I don't want to spoil for you guys, but I thought it was well done. Just don't expect to see a lot of Soldier Boy in these first couple episodes. It is very much a slow build to try and find him, and then of course we do see him appear in the series. Also, he's extremely powerful, like more powerful than probably any superhero we've seen in the show so far. Like we're talking devastating levels of damage here, which does get you excited for the potential matchup here when he does ever actually face off against Homelander, because that is kind of the main goal for the season, to get him to try and fight Homelander. If you thought Homelander was bad before in Season 1 and Season 2, I think Season 3 is probably the worst he's ever been. He's like absolutely unhinged because there's nobody here to really wrangle him in. Because of that, we see him continue this descent into madness, completely shattering through his breaking point and doing the most absolutely diabolical things to any and everyone he deems getting in the way, which includes several members of the 7 and the boys. Much of the season is all about him trying to regain his popularity that he lost after last season, and the fact that he's butting heads with Starlight as leader of the 7. So kudos to Anthony Starr for continuing to ramp up this character and just show how absolutely terrible Homelander is, because he is a villain that you really do want to see his comeuppance, especially in Season 3. I think this is the best season yet for Starlight as a character because she's much more confident in herself, and she's given a much more predominant role here. I'm not a big fan of the drama in her relationship with her and Huey. Huey also is great in this season. He's probably the character that takes the longest to get back into the swing of things as far as the boys members go, but there are some great moments here with Huey, especially in the later portion of the season, probably about like around Herogasm. That's probably some of the best stuff. Same goes for Starlight. I want to talk about Herogasm a little bit, non-spoiler of course. Episode 6 It's probably one of the best episodes of the entire season. It lives up to the hype, I think, in my personal opinion. It's not as absolutely bonkers as the comic book version, because that version just goes off the rails. If you ever read it, you know what I'm talking about. But it's still pretty intense. It might personally be my favorite episode of the season, that and the finale. I think those are the strongest episodes all around. Well, when it comes to stuff that I'm not too fond of in the season, there's not like a whole lot of stuff I'm not too fond of. One of them is one of the criticisms I had even back in season 2, and that is the Deep and A-Train as characters. They just don't really do much for me. As characters, both of them just feel kind of directionless. We kind of throw them into different stories that are adjacent to the main one every season, and this might be their worst ones yet. I can't get into these characters whatsoever, and I wish that they would use that time with these characters and put it towards other characters who are much better suited for it. I think Maeve is a character that is great in this season with the time that we do get spent with her, but she's not in the season as much as I would have liked, and I feel like that we could have spent some more time on her than the goofy stuff of what we see with the Deep, because the Deep probably is the worst character in the show for me personally. I just don't like Chase Crawford's character a lot in the show. He's been kind of terrible since the very beginning, and they keep trying to like almost redeem him in a sense and kind of use him as like a punchline, and I could do without him. If you're a fan of Kamiko, which I kind of include myself in that group, I think you're going to be somewhat potentially disappointed by her inclusion into the season, because it was something that I worried about with giving powers to characters like Butcher, because she was kind of the muscle of the group, and now that we have Butcher having powers, she kind of gets benched for long stretches of the season, which is something that I wish wasn't the case. She is still present in the show. We kind of go on a different journey with her as a character that kind of tries to pull on your emotions, but I don't think it personally works because of the writing. But it's just disappointing to see her not be the muscle of the group or get as many moments to shine in the action scenes. You do get a few, but they are few and far between compared to previous seasons. But season 3 of The Boys is yet another solid season of the show that continues to deliver on the expectations of its bombastic, raunchy, bloody style, but it matures in a bit in its own way, delivering impactful, shocking, edge-of-your-seat surprises for longtime fans of the series. It's going to be a lot of fun talking about this show with you guys. The first 3 episodes, it starts out a little bit slow. I mean, there are still some very fun moments in those first few episodes, but I think that the show really hits its stride maybe around like the midpoint of the season without going into too many details, but it's still exciting either way. I'm excited to talk about the show with you guys each and every week, so make sure you share your thoughts down below. What do you think of season 3 of The Boys? Are you excited for the season to finally start this week? Be sure to share your thoughts down below on the episodes of The Boys and any speculation, prediction you may have where we're going to go with the season, because the fun of this having that conversation with you guys in the comment section down below. Thank you guys, always check out the reviews. I really appreciate that. Make sure to like on the video. Also subscribe to the channel so you're always up to date with my movie reactions, unboxings, and more. Until next time, I'll see you guys later.